I'm excited to share with you guys things that we need to be looking out for. And this is going to be a real instructive teaching. So I want you to take notes if you can, or, you can watch this later. If you don't have anything handy, maybe you're not in a place where you can take notes, that's fine. But got a lot of good information for you today to help you this time of the year. It's late summer, almost fall, and there's not a lot of time left to do things. So we got to start thinking about how do we get all of our, hives ready for winter. So first thing we have to talk about is queen issues. Many beekeepers really do struggle with queen issues. I think my opinion is that a lot of beekeepers just don't want to own up that their queen is failing. I mean, the queen is everything. We all fall in love with our queen. We love her. She looks good. We mark her. We name her. I mean, you just got to have a good queen in there, especially if you're a new beekeeper and that queen's been with you all year long. You feel really attached. You feel like you got to really be loyal to your queen. And then when she starts laying a brood pattern like the one in the picture, you try to talk yourself into that's okay. That's going to be okay. But the truth of the matter, that is a spotty brood pattern. And it's one that makes us worry about, will this queen make it through winter? And if she does, will she be able to lay again in the spring, or much at all different than she did now, this time of the year? So you're in a position now where if you have any questions about your queen, you might have to quickly replace her if you can still buy queens. Okay, that's the key right here. Can you still get queens? And that brings us to the question many of you will ask me, well, what if I remove the queen, kill her, take it out of the hive, whatever, and let them raise their own queen? Well, already, as you'll see in a minute, my hives are starting to push out drones. So if they raise their own queen, can she get mated? Since it's so late in the year, it's going to be really iffy. So you're probably a lot better off, in my opinion, this late if you can buy a mated queen and replace your queen with a mated queen. I think that would be much better off. That's going to be the first thing you really need to sink your teeth in and really decide. So let me help you understand this. Here's a screenshot. I had Sunshine and her husband Chris over a few days ago. You might have seen that video we made. And they were really impressed with my hives and the brood pattern here, right? This is just a few days ago. So you can see I'm not putting up with spotty brood pattern. You can see a few holes missing, but that's a very good brood pattern there. See, that's what you want to be seeing this time of the year. Another picture, it's hard to see. The bees are all standing there. Also, I was with them, and one thing I wanted to point out, I found this bottom box right below this hole. Do you see that hole where a bee's coming out? That's my acyclic vaporizer hole that I put that in there. But right below that, the box is starting to rot. And a few days earlier, I saw robbing. Robber bees were coming in that crack. Bees can go in that crack. So what we did was I got a piece of Gorilla Tape and I covered up. I just kind of married the box to that bottom board. And now that covered up the crack. But one thing they ask about is, why are there so many dead bees on the board that's below the hive? Well, I looked around and I said, there's some workers that are dead. That's from robbing. When the robbing took place, there was fighting. Some workers died. But look I also found here, a lot of drones. Now in the picture to your left there, the main bee that you see standing there, that is what a drone looks like. And so you can see the difference between a worker and a drone. So, they're pushing out their drones now. And if you have any robbing, it isn't just your hive is getting robbed, but what happens is they start fighting and they start killing each other. So it can really be challenging. Now, one of the things I promised to talk about tonight, I promised that last week, I wanted to talk about bald brood. All right. So if you notice in the picture here, this is from a hive, one of my hives, about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I had a spell of this. I didn't see any at all this year. And I sometimes see it more in the fall. And you might see this in your hives. You might if you watch other YouTube channels or something on beekeeping, you might see other beekeepers are wrestling with it. But it is bald brood. What we're looking at are those little white openings. The cells are open, and you can see the head or the face of the worker bees. So those are actually purple-eyed pupae. The eyes turn dark as they mature and become adult bees, but they should be capped over because they're pupae. Pupae, the rest of them beside them are capped over. These aren't capped over. Why are they uncapped or not capped over? It's called bald brood. Now, there are many speculations. We know bald brood is caused by varroa-sensitive hygienic genetics in bees. If the bees are very hygienic, then they're looking to take out the thread of the varroa destructor mite in those cells. So they may not have opened them, or they may not have closed them up yet, or they may have opened them to get rid of the pupae. And but at that point, it also could be wax moth. If you see it in a straight line, then that means that sometimes these the pupae are damaged by the wax moth going through the brood or something like that. But it can also be caused from the hive having a disease like deformed wing virus. It can be caused from the over infestation of the varroa destructor mite as well. If a colony becomes really sick, like it has PSM, PSM in beekeeping stands for parasitic mite disease. So it's a problem, and it can result in bald brood. So bald brood is rarely a good thing. It generally is something that's wrong. Okay, because it's not supposed to be that way. But you might see patches of that, and it might be that your hive will be fine, but it does mean that something is an irritant, something is not quite right with those. And I've been told, I've never watched, but I've been told that these bees will actually emerge as adults just fine. I find that hard to believe, but maybe that's true. But I've heard people say that. All right, so that's bald brood, and not much you can do to prevent it except, I think, keep very healthy hives. Like the picture here, I want to keep showing some pictures of healthy brood. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is from one of my hives a couple of days ago, and you can see the combination here. The top covered pupae, that's cap brood, and below that is the bee bread. It looks more like a greasy type pollen. Do you see that? Very important for bees to have that in the hive. That's what they eat all winter long, and it's the enzymes are added to it by the bees to make it last longer. And oh boy, I'm sorry if some of you have seen this. So if you see this, I know some of you have. I see some of you asking me, about this and what can you do now, right? So if you know what this is, leave a comment in the chat. You probably have seen it. This is the greater wax moth. This is wax moth damage. It's frost. This is the webbing that they leave. They also defecate. You can see little black droppings where they defecate, and they will destroy your comb. I've talked about them before. Wax moth, listen, friend, wax moth does not destroy a comb, a colony. Wax moth come in to a weak colony that's perishing, and they do it so they clean up, they consume, they get rid of all the wax to prevent other diseases. So they come in and clean up after your colony has died or gotten so weak that it's about to die. They are not able to come into a strong colony. If we go back here and a wax moth shows up, these bees will grab the greater wax moth. They will grab her, fight her, not let her in the entrance, or if she gets in, they will drag her out. But if a colony is weak and then she starts laying eggs, those eggs turn into larvae. Those larvae just ravage your comb, and then they lay their little cocoons everywhere against the wood. So be on the lookout for wax moth. Prevention is good beekeeping. Yep. Yay. Good beekeeping, strong hives, overpopulated hives. very populated. Now, another thing you occasionally might see is chalk brood. This is a fungus that gets into bees. We see this more in the spring. I've heard people talk about it in the fall too. Man, it's so dry here. I don't think it's going to happen. But anyway, that's when some of the larvae, the pupae, actually mummify. They turn to a very hard piece of material that you can actually make them rattle in the comb. And I guess this maybe it's called chalk brood because you could pick up one and write on the chalkboard with it. But you know, they don't have to be white, they can be gray, but they are very hard. I've had it one time early in the spring when I made a split a little bit too early, but it recovered pretty quick. But the best thing you can do is keep healthy colonies and keep your colonies dry as possible. Too much moisture in the spring can cause this to happen. And so that's what we try to do, is keep the colony from getting too wet and too much moisture, especially in the spring when nurse bees are few and far between, to keep things cleaned up. Now let's talk about EFB. This is European foul brood. European foul brood is Melissacoccus platona, I think is the name of it. But anyway, you can see here, appreciate the picture here from Eleanor Schumacher. But she has a picture here of, this looks like a green drone comb. Look at that spotty brood that can be evident, not always, but that can also be a part of understanding a European foul brood. This is a bacteria that grows in the brood. Again, beekeepers see it all year, but mainly in the spring during moist time of the year coming out of winter. But let's go into it a little bit more. If you look at European foul brood, just to give you an idea what it looks like, you can see here, you can see the spiracles in the first row in the middle. The breathing tubes are called spiracles, and they're not visible when the larvae is pearly white. It's not really easy to see them. But you can also see twisted larvae in European foul brood. You see how the larvae begins to twist. It can even become dark and discolored. By the way, this was a video. I made a video on European foul brood, so I took a screenshot of this the video to put it. That's why you see two pictures of me. I couldn't get myself out of the picture. So European foul brood, you can see here visible breathing tubes. It's twisted, it's discolored. So anytime I open up a hive, I'm always looking for pearly white larvae to make sure the larvae is healthy. So be on the lookout for that. Now, do you know what this is? This is what all beekeepers fear the most. I want to give a shout out to my good friend, Dr. John Zavishlak. Let me use his picture on this one. John and I talk bees all the time. We were talking today about it. But look at this picture. This is a picture where it looks kind of greasy. Do you notice it looks kind of oily, greasy? And you see some holes in the pupae. You see some of the pupae cappings have sunken. Some have holes. You can actually see some, like the pre-pupae stage there, that are flat against what we would call the bottom, I guess, of the cell there. Not really the back, but the bottom, but they're dying in there. This is the most dreaded disease that you never want to see in your hive. This is American foul brood. It too is a bacteria. It's very contagious, has a lot of spores that gets transferred around. And so most states have a apiary inspection organization where they have inspectors go out, and they are really looking for these things right here, these brood diseases. So that's what we fear the most, because it can ravish through. It can be carried from hive to hive too. So kind of get familiar with these images so that you can be aware of American foul brood. Courtesy of Steve Rapaski, my good friend, fellow EAS master beekeeper in Pennsylvania. Steve, let me use this picture. Again, you can see pictures of sunken brood on the left and perforated brood, we call it, there on the right where the arrow is pointing to. You may see some holes sometimes in your brood, but it doesn't always mean American foul brood. American foul brood has a very bad smell to it. That's why some people fear the goldenrod means they have American foul brood. But I guarantee you, American foul brood smells, I wouldn't say a lot, but significantly worse than goldenrod smells, okay, in your hive. American Foulbrood really does smell horrible. And that's a picture of it there. Now, one of the ways that you can actually do a test on the American Foulbrood, if you're not sure, you can open up one of the cap cells or some of the larvae that you see there with a toothpick and twirl it around a little bit and draw the toothpick out kind of slowly. And if it ropes out, see that roping there? If it ropes out a significant a distance, like maybe more than a half inch or quarter inch or something, more than an eighth inch or something, it shouldn't rope at all. But if it ropes out, it's a good chance that that's going to be American Foulbrood. And you don't want that for sure. So be on the lookout for that. Again, here's another image Steve has here on American Foulbrood. That's what you're going to be noticing. The big thing is these dead pre-pupae stages in the laying down in the cells. You'll see their tongue extended sometimes as well. So yeah, I drew a picture in the video that I made on American Foulbrood. I shared with that. That's Panabacillus larvae is the name of that bacteria. But the picture shows a cell at a 14-degree angle there, and you can see the decaying larvae, the pupae there, and that you'll see the extension of the tongue there of that midrib is the line in the cell. So be on the lookout for that. You don't want that. This is what you want to see again. This is a picture that I took a couple of days ago. Capped over, no holes, all good. A lot of bees in there to take care of things. You know, that's what you want to be looking for this time of the year. So it's important to really keep all these things in mind and have a good eye. Being a good beekeeper means you really need to be able to look carefully at all the various possibilities of things that could be going wrong with your hive. If you're brand new to beekeeping, I think sometimes beekeepers may have some problems with their bees in the fall. And that's because they've had a problem of one of the things we've just shown in this live stream tonight. We've shown some of the things that can happen. And if you're not real experienced in identifying and tackling these things, then quickly they will just ruin your hive. And especially like European, American Foulbrood, parasitic mite syndrome, same thing with that. All of these things can just play havoc, wax moths take over. So those are challenges that all beekeepers need to be aware of this late in the game, okay? So not always, it's not bad news, but it's just news that we need to stay alert to what could happen in our hive. So I hope that's helpful for you tonight. Wow. All right. Let's go ahead and have a giveaway before we get into some questions tonight. I'm going to be giving away something that I've used for so many years. I really do like using it. I'm going to be giving out a bottle of Honeybee Healthy, 8-ounce jar. And if you just have a few hives, this will last forever because it's so concentrated. I use half of what they suggest, and it still seems like plenty. So hashtag, what's it, Robbie? Hashtag prize. And yeah, hashtag prize. If you'd like to be the winner, we'll get one of these shipped out to you. I add this to my 1-to-1 sugar water in the fall with another teaspoon of amino bee booster, along with a teaspoon of my protein substitute powder that I use. So all three of those things are what I'm feeding my bees this fall. And I'm going to be starting to feed my bees. They're still so heavy on the goldenrod. I'm still waiting for that to die out. So I was going to start feeding today, but then goldenrod is still too strong coming into the hive. So much foraging activity, but I'm getting all my jars ready, pre-mix this stuff, get it ready so you can get out there and start feeding them. You don't want there to be a gap. You want to support the bees to raise diutinous bees. Bees are winter physiology when the goldenrod dries up. Some of you live in areas where you have knotweed and you have other things still blooming. All of it's going to stop. We always have our first frost at the end of September or the 1st of October. So anytime it can surprise us. We're going to cool off over the weekend too. So it's going to be different. Hashtag prize. All right. So let's see, Robbie, go ahead and let's see who will win a jar of Honeybee Healthy tonight. 8-ounce jar. I'll remove that for you. There we go. And that way we can see who's going to win the 8-ounce jar of Honey Be Healthy tonight. And that way we'll get this given away, and then we'll get into your questions. So be thinking about the questions you have for me tonight. All right, let's do it. Yeah, look at all the people here tonight. Big crowd again. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you being here tonight. Hey, David Scott. Congratulations, David. You're the winner tonight. Be sure and email us within 24 hours at the scrolling email address below, beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. Get that sent off to us so we can get that shipped out to you as soon as possible. All right, very good. Fun time. Let's get into some of your questions, and let me see what I can do to help you guys out with some answers tonight. What's on your mind? Hello, Dean. David, how long can a mated queen stay in her cage before she is introduced to the colony? It kind of all depends, Dean, on how long, if you get her from a supplier, how long has she been in there to start with? Has she been in there 3 days or, a week or a week and a half? So typically if the workers are in there, her attendants, or if you give her a tiny drop of honey or water a day, she will last a significant time. I have no idea what to tell you about an exact time, but I've kept them in there that way a good part of a week, and they've done really well. After that, I've not had to keep them that long. So let's say a week if you feed them and keep them in a kind of a nice, comfortable room. Yeah. Hey, Debbie. First time I've caught a fall swarm. Oh, man, I know. I talked about that last week in our live stream. So is it okay to combine the swarm 3 days ago and in my swarm trap with another one? She's a marked queen. I already saw eggs. I'm in Tennessee. Yeah, Debbie, do that. That'd be fine. Just use a newspaper method. That's going to be a way that they can slowly kind of get introduced to each other. You'll have to lose one of the queens, whichever the best one is. Sound like you've already made that decision, but you're fine to do that. Just use newspaper to combine them. Yep. Hey, Thomas. Good to see you, Tom. Thank you for your donation. Thanks, David, for helping us learn beekeeping. What advice and encouragement do you have to help novice beekeepers deal with disappointment from possible failures this fall and winter? Ooh, Tom, that's going to be a good answer right there. Thank you, Tom. There always are chances that we'll experience failures this fall and this winter. And I've spent a lifetime telling beekeepers, keep track that if you do lose your bees this fall or this winter, you learned a lot. And I know you were attached to your bees. You spent a lot of money. You're wondering if you should keep going or not. I think that the key here is to never give up your first, second, or third year. Don't give up. Make a commitment to start beekeeping, unless you're severely allergic or something. If you're just having trouble keeping going with your bees alive, stay with it at least 3 years. They say to even start a business, you're not going to make any money for a couple of years. That's because you're learning all the ropes, how not to lose money and all that. You got to learn the ropes of beekeeping. I think it takes 5 years to really feel extremely competent in beekeeping. But if you quit your first year, you're just starting to learn. If you quit every time you fall off a tricycle or a bicycle when you're first learning, you're never going to learn. You got to get back on it. But then you're a pro cyclist after 3 years. So stay with it. We all have had failures our first, second year. So stay with it. And just remember, there's so much to learn about beekeeping. Learning is a fun part. And suffering and losing bees, it hurts, but then it makes you a better beekeeper. Stay with it for 3 years. Don't give up. Be committed to stay with it. Thanks, Tom. Does robbing have certain times of the day that they do it, or is it all day long? Oh, it can be all day long. Think of foragers. So anytime a bee is able to forage, to leave their hive, go somewhere after something, that's when robbing can happen. I've seen it in the morning. I've seen it late in the day. So it can be all over the board. Yeah. We're not off the hook, are we? I know. Well, hello from Central Ohio. I lived there one time. Was wondering if wrapping your hives with tar paper is a good idea for winter. I don't think it hurts anything. I used to do that all the time. It does provide a wind block, if anything, if you've got holes and cracks, but probably it doesn't have much R value. Your best bet is to provide insulation on the top of your hives, and that's what our winter bee kinds offer, that insulation on top plus food. Yep. Windbreak is really good. How do I get a new queen to start laying eggs to build up the hive for winter? I've been feeding 1-to-1 and she's not laying very well. Please help. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if that queen is not a good queen, period. You have a failing queen, you buy a queen, you might buy, as luck has it, sometimes we can have bad luck 2 times in a row with the queen. So feeding, you would think, would help get her going really good. My queens are laying really well right now, laying a lot of good eggs. So they should be. So keep an eye on her. Wait 10 days. You might want to replace her again. I know it's bad news, but I wouldn't let it go too long. We got another giveaway coming up, so stay tuned. Janet, in your experience, can you tell how bad a winter will be in relation to the amounts of honey you get from your bees? That would be fun, and I would be really rich if I could. Absolutely not. Nobody has yet figured out how to predict the weather. Thank you, Tammy, for your gift, and thank all of you for donations to the live stream. I wish we could predict the weather, but no. The idea is if they probably store a lot of honey up, maybe it's going to be a bad winter, but that's not true at all because they're Apis mellifera. They're just going to store as much as they can no matter what the season holds. They'll do it if they have all seasons are warm, they'll do it. Any chance the hot weather can make the bees draw out the last 3 foundations I have, or is it truly just too late? Not necessarily the weather that comes into play so much as what are they consuming? Remember, it takes about 8 pounds, it takes 11 pounds in them to ingest honey or nectar to make 1 pound. Let's see, to get that right, 8 ounces to make 1 pound, but it takes more nectar to be consumed than for them to make a pound of wax. That's what I'm trying to say. So they're going to have to eat a lot of nectar to make wax. Okay. So you're going to have to feed them if they're going to make wax. Yeah. I have 2 single deeps, wild caught. Sound like salmon that I eat. Have only drawn out 4 of 10. They've capped honey in all stages. Should I checkerboard or combine requeen that's closer to fall? These are all good questions. And these questions, like this question here, is so complex that there is not a simple answer to it because I don't really know exactly what every frame looks like, but it sounds like you only have 4 out of 10 frames, but then there's 2 single deep. So what's the other deep look like? I don't know. So anyway, checkerboarding this time of the year is going to be iffy. Like we've been talking about, it's hard to get frames drawn out this late. So you might be better off to give it another week, see if your late fall flow will help. And if it doesn't, you might have to combine those. Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate your donation tonight. Thank you guys for your super stickers here on YouTube. If you don't want to donate on YouTube, you can go to our website at honeybeesonline.com and you can make a donation for the live streams right there. We're trying some different things with our internet. We've been paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars to live stream on Thursday night for internet service, but we're trying something different and it's holding up pretty good tonight, which will save us $500 a month on internet. Wow, I know. Well, so I have a honey super that got filled in late flow. Oh, that's interesting. Good. Is it okay to overwinter that on top of my 2 double deeps? And should I do something different with it? No, if you don't need it, if they filled it up, leave it on there. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm making sure that all my hives have 2 deeps and 1 medium honey super, even though I'm going to feed them my winter bee kinds, 4 to 5 of those a month. I'm going to keep my hives well fed this year. So I don't mind letting them have that extra super. Thank you, Marlis, for your donation. I appreciate your super sticker tonight. Feed your bees. That's not going to hurt to leave that super on. Hey, Don from Pennsylvania, maybe you can join us at the Pennsylvania conference. I lost a hive due to wax moths. Let me clarify that. That's probably a not correct way to say that. You lost a hive and wax moths came in. And that's what they do. Can the frames be cleaned or do I have to toss them? It's tough. If you have plastic foundation, you can scrape it all off, pressure washer it at the car wash, or if you have your own pressure washer it. And then you can put new wax on it in spring. I'd wait till spring to put a new, melt some wax down, buy some wax or wax cappings from your honey supers, and then put that on those frames. If it's plastic, it'll be fine. Thank you, Mark, for your super sticker. What kind of bee? Oh, wait a minute. What kind of bee would you recommend for start beekeeper from New Jersey? I would recommend Apis mellifera, the Western honeybee. That's the best one I can recommend. Of course, I do really mean that. Hey, thanks, Justin, for your donation, because we often think that we can get a special queen, like, a Carniolan or a Buckfast or an Italian, or I can get a special queen and that'd be the best queen for my area, for my whatever. Yeah, Apis mellifera, I mean, they do have maybe a little differences between them, but they're so muddled down because we breed there's so many breeds that breed in the wild and everything. I wouldn't worry about a certain type. Just buy a good queen from a good known supplier that has a good reputation. Hi, Sandy. Having trouble using a hive carrier. Is it okay for one box at a time, or can you use it to move a double deep hive with the cover on? I'm stumped. I've never used a hive carrier, the official kind. I've not used those. I would suggest you tinker with it. Others that use them, leave a comment and let them know what works for you. But I always do it the poor man's way of tie down strapping it with a pole or a board on it, and two people pick it up and move it that way, put it in a pickup truck or something. Thank you, Mark, for your donation tonight. When would you remove honey super frames from strong hives and move to a weaker hive in preparation for winter? I'm located in Virginia. Well, I'm actually doing that now. I was surveying today. I got a lot of honey supers. Like I got one hive, right? That's got, I think I got two hives that have 3 honey supers that are capped over and beautiful. And so I'm thinking about, okay, I'm going to take 2 off of each of those hives and give them to hives that don't have any supers on. And so I'm going to share the wealth. And when can I do that? I'm not going to be moving frames. I'm going to be moving whole medium supers. I'm going to do that as soon as the nectar flow stops and it cools off. Cooling off is my main objective there. So I'm just going to be spreading the wealth between all my hives. I don't have to harvest all that honey. I've got plenty of honey. I don't have to harvest it all. I'm going to let the bees enjoy it all. Thank you for your donation tonight. I appreciate that, EL. All right, good questions tonight. And check my time, make sure I don't. Oh yeah, got plenty. Hey, Ginger. At a bee club, I heard that if you insulate a hive for winter, you need to remove the insulation on warm days. Is that true? You don't really have to, but that's my quirk in insulating hives. That's my problem. One year I spent time insulating all of my hives. And so what happened was it turned out to be a winter where we had warm-ups. It would warm up sometimes 50 or 60 degrees occasionally, like for a day or 2 a month, right? Well, because I had all that insulation on there, it blocked the sun from warming up the hive because it was acting the other way. It insulates on a hot day as it would a cold day, right? So now it's insulating the heat on the outside from being absorbed and enjoyed by the bees on the inside. So yes, that year I would go out and unwrap my hives on days where I knew the sun was going to warm them up. They could spread out and get into some honey that maybe they weren't able to get into. Okay. So that's why I don't like to wrap, but I'm debating it. I think it does help in severe winters, but then it can warm up and hurt. Yeah. Hey, John. So my bees absconded 2 days ago here in Wisconsin. Was very strong first year hive. The way I understand it, they decide 21 days in advance. Is there a way to see this happening in the hive? Well, I'm not sure. I think absconding doesn't require a 21 day in advance. I think bees can abscond immediately for any known reason. Swarming does require, or does that, they do predict a swarm. They usually prepare about 30 days before they swarm. I don't know if your bees all left or if half of them left. I'm not sure what happened there. So that's sad that happened. Sunshine, hey, it was fun making the video with you and Chris. Well, thank you for your encouragement tonight and your donation. Got some more videos with you and Chris coming up. So yeah, those were great videos. That was we got lucky that day with the weather and everything. Thank you, Sunshine. Good to see you. Hi, David. I have a community feeder, but have no bees at the feeder. Have you ever seen this before? Well, I don't know if I've seen that before. No. I would say if the bees are in a heavy nectar flow, there's no need to feed them like that. They're probably enjoying natural nectar they're getting from flowers. That may be what's happening, or they just haven't found it. It may take them a week to find it. Yeah, that is unusual though, if it's sugar water. Wow. Very interesting. Yeah, you guys have a lot of good questions. Hey, Tammy, please tell us how to get a single deep through winter. I have a nice VSH queen in it and hoping for the best. Okay, best way to get a single deep through the winter for me is add another deep to my single deep. And I have 2 deeps to get through the winter. Where did you say you lived? Do I not see? I have no idea where you live, I guess. So obviously you have a winter. If you're like me, you can have a bad winter. So single deeps are a little risky. I've done it, and I showed some pictures from Steve Rapaski. He's big in Pennsylvania overwintering single deeps. Feed, insulate, get a lot of brood in there for bees of winter physiology, and test your mite levels. Don't just trust you have a VSH. Do mite counts. Keep mite counts 1 to 2 mites per 100 bees. Yeah, it takes a little more work on a single deep where I live. If I was a little further south, I wouldn't be ashamed of it. But boy, up here, it's rough sometimes on single deeps. Well, hello, Gene. Have you tested for mites before fall comes? Absolutely. Yes, I do. I test regularly. And if so, how many more treatments will you do before winter? That's something I'm debating. Right now, my mite counts are extremely low. I'm like at 0 or 1. I think the most I saw was 2 in a hive. And so I'm experiencing 0 in a lot of my hives, maybe 1. But I have been treating with a solid vaporization. That's really been knocking down. I've been actually counting the mites that are killed when I do on some of my hives when I do the treatment, and that's been fun counting, wading through all the junk on the bottom, and trying to pick out the mites. But yeah, I'm going to keep those levels between 0 and no greater than 2. Yeah. That, you know what the stuff on the bottom of the hive is called on the bottom board? Detritus. Yeah. Hey, Jason, first year beekeeper. My bees have been super gentle all summer, but have turned spicy. I understand that they are being defensive due to winter stores. Will they calm again come spring? Yeah, mine will. Mine do. My hives are actually right now, my bees have not become defensive yet. Sunshine's here, and Chris, we worked hives a few days ago last week. The hives were not defensive at all. They were very calm and gentle. You can see it in the video, by the way. And so, it's hard to tell, but generally they are just there because they're not able to go foraging like they want to, and they've got a lot of honey to protect. Yep. And there's robbing and all that. Yep. Hey, Rich, how are you? When the queen lays the egg, what's the time frame that cell should be kept by the workers? Oh, roughly we think about 7-8 days is when they cap it from it's a larvae. It goes from egg, larvae, capped around day 8, and then it goes into the pupae stage as well till it emerges on day 21 as a worker. Yep. Hey, Tom, I am bad at spotting the queen, so I look for eggs. Wow. Okay, I get it. Yeah, eggs would be easier than a queen. Yeah. Uncapped brood and excessive drone brood. What are my risks? Let's see. I look for, oh, now you're wondering if you're going to have drone eggs, I think. Yeah, that's what you're wondering. Uncapped brood. Not sure what that means. An excessive drone brood. I'm not sure if I understand your question. If you're seeing a lot of uncapped brood, like bald brood, and you see excessive drone brood, maybe, what's the risk of having a bad queen? Might be pretty high. Well, keep watching it 10 days. And if you still don't see good laying and brood pattern, like I showed in my pictures, you might really need to get a new queen. Yeah. A couple of more questions and then we'll have another giveaway. Okay. All right. Hey, Anthony. Goodbye, Anthony. Hello, Mauro. I modified my feeder. I'm not saying what company, however. There was only liquid feeder for it, so I divided it to feed liquid and found it works pretty well. Maybe somebody will do that for us. Yeah, I kind of don't understand what kind of feeder and all that you were using there. Liquid feeders, reservoir feeders on top of the hive, maybe that's what you were doing. Could be. Yeah. Oh, there's Anthony back with us. Oh, I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I checked my hive today. No eggs. Found the bees balling the queen. She looks so skinny. Should I combine this hive or wait to see if there'll be another queen? Yeah, I think, Anthony, I'd wait to see what's going on with that queen. Sometimes they ball a queen and she still is okay. Maybe she flew in there and now they're just getting used to her. It was too sudden or something. Let's hang out and see what happens on that one. All right, we're going to give another giveaway now. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to do something different. Hang on. Oh, let's do this first. Spin the wheel. Get it in the picture with me. Look at all the things we could fall on tonight. Fun things tonight that could happen on Spin the Wheel. Okay, got a cool tool that we could show. If it lands on one of these, we'll have a giveaway on the Beak Squad. And it says personal. Now, if it lands on personal, you get to pick one of us here tonight, Sheri, Robbie, Jessica, or myself, and you get to ask us a personal question. So if that's an option. You can land here and you get a free month of B Team 6 mentoring where you can, I'll work with you on coaching you for a month through email. You can ask me any questions anytime, help you with your beekeeping, or you can win a 30-minute Zoom meeting just with me, just like me and you talking now. So let's give a spin and see where it lands tonight. We haven't done Spin the Wheel for a while. Everybody's combing their hair in case it lands on personal. Oh, it landed on a giveaway. So let's go ahead and make it another jar of Honeybee Healthy. So #prize is the winner tonight. So put that in there. There's no advantage in putting multiple hashtag names in there. Only one name per entry really helps us out a lot. So you're going to win you have the option to win just as well. Let's spin it one more time for fun, okay? If it lands on a giveaway, we'll bypass it. All right, let's get something fun going on in here tonight. Oh, it is something personal. We landed on personal, so this is going to be kind of tough. So, all right, first, Robbie, let's go ahead and have our giveaway for our Honeybee Healthy. Let's do that right now. And then we'll select the person that gets to ask a personal question. All right. Get all this organized here. Wow, Robbie's quick on the trigger there, wasn't he? We're finding the winner tonight of another jar of Honeybee Healthy. Help feed your bees. The one and only Zuzu. Okay, you're the winner. Be sure and email us within 24 hours. beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. All right, so Robbie, now you're going to have to create another, whatever kind of, well, if you want to use prize again, that would work, wouldn't it? You could use prize again. And yeah, let's just do that. So what we need to do is, if you want to ask us, don't put your name in there. Maybe we should do a different word, Robbie. Yeah, let's do a different word. Let's do personal. Wow, that was quick. Okay, so If you want to ask one of us a personal question, you're not going to come on live with us. You're just going to type it in the comment if you win. So we're not going to embarrass you, but you do have to say, okay, I want to ask one of them a personal question. Then we'll select which one of you get a chance to ask us a personal question. Okay. So you type in #personal in the comments, and then we'll select you, and then you need to ask the question of which one of us. We'll have to bring the personal person on board. So that'll be fun. #personal if you want to ask one of us a personal question. It's kind of fun, isn't it? Kind of get into our personal lives. We do have the right to not answer you. All right. All right, let's go ahead and draw it, Robbie. Let's see who wants to ask a personal question tonight of one of us. All righty, here we go. Wow, Tom. Tom is the winner tonight. Wow, that's cool. Tom, you get to ask a personal question of either me, Sheri, Robbie, or Jessica. So you'll write it in the comment. Take a moment right now, not to rush you, but we only have about 3 minutes. Don't feel rushed, but you'll get to ask a personal question tonight. Tom. All right, good. Well, that's a lot of fun. And so once Tom gets his comment written in there, we'll jump to that. And let's take one more question while we're waiting on Tom's personal question tonight. Tom's a deep thinker. No telling what he'll come up with. All right, let's answer another question. A friend of mine is letting me place hives on the land he is caretaking. There are already 5 out of 6 hives on the land. However, all the surrounding farms use strong pesticides. Should I be worried? Absolutely. Pesticide, the word pests or word side means death. They're killing insects or pests out there. If it's, monocrop like corn and beans, it's not so bad, but you need to find out and talk with your farmer, see what they're spraying, work out a deal. All right, here's a question. It's for me. The rest of them are off the hook. David, how do you balance your research, speaking, YouTube channel, and bee business? Well, Tom, that is a very good question. I'm a hard worker, and I think that my dad taught me to be a really hard worker. I get up extremely early in the morning. I mean, I beat the sun when it comes to getting up most of the time. And I stay busy way after the sun goes down. Obviously, look at me now. It's 8 o'clock and I'm on YouTube. So I think it's just maybe trying to figure out what I need to do and keeping it well organized. That's the thing with me. I've got a lot of books. I've got a lot of calendars. I do write a lot. I have a lot of speaking engagements. And Sheri's the big winner on the bee business. Sheri keeps the bee business going. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't have a good answer other than I love working. I love staying busy. I think it keeps me young, and I enjoy researching bees all the time. Thanks, Tom. That's a good question. Well, friends, I think we did it all, and we got a lot accomplished tonight. You guys are great. We had a big crowd tonight, and wow, what a fun time it was being with all of you. It was a blast, and I really appreciate all your donations tonight for the live stream, and I'm so excited that we made it through here with good internet, so I don't have to pay the high internet bill. That's going to help the live stream tremendously. So that's cool. And yeah, thank you all for your support. And as always, I feel like you're my best friend. You guys are great. We have such a good community right here. All of you just are such an intricate part. You're the heroes of this YouTube channel to make I've been on YouTube now for 17 years making beekeeping videos, and I do it for you to help you. So I'm working hard for you. A big shout out to Jessica, Robbie, and Sheri tonight for the great job that they did as well. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good week.